marathon, all exam, that is UPSC, SSC. First IMP, first IMP, geography 100 POIQ facts, geography 100 POIQ facts. Once I am confirming my sound, 1 minute. I am confirming my sound. 1 second. Yeah, 1 second. Geography. First match the following: geography, landforms and architecture. Oxop Lake, when formed, Oxop Lakes, that is fluvial, uh, landform created by a river meandering प्रोसेस से कौन बनता है? ऑक्सोप लेक्स बनते हैं। स्टैलेग्माइट कब बनते हैं? डिपोजनल लैंडफॉर्म ग्रोविंग अपवर्ड फ्रॉम लैंडस्टोन केव्स फ्लोर्स। नेक्स्ट, क्रिक्स कब बनते हैं? क्रिक्स ग्लासियल इरोजनल लैंडफॉर्म है। ग्लासियर इरोजनल लैंडफॉर्म है। ग्लासियर इरोजनल लैंडफॉर्म फॉर्मिंग बाउल शेप्ड डिस्पर्जन ऑन माउंटेन्स। यारडैंग्स कब बनते हैं? इओलिन लैंडफॉर्म फीचरिंग शार्प विंड कार्व्ड रॉक रिड्स। विंड से बनता है। अर्थ इंटरनल बाउंड्रीज। सेकंड क्वेश्चन सेकंड क्वेश्चन है अर्थ इंटीरियर बाउंड्रीज। कोनार्ड डिसकंटिन्यूटी कहाँ बनती है? कोनार्ड, that is boundary separated upper crust from the lower crust, अपर क्रस्ट टू लोअर क्रस्ट। मोहरी कुठं बनते? मोहरी कहाँ बनती है? तर मोहरी कहाँ बनती है? मोहरिक डिसकंटिन्यूटी बाउंड्री सेपरेटिंग अर्थ क्रस्ट फ्रॉम अपर मेंटल। रिपीटेड डिसकंटिन्यूटी कहाँ बनती है? बाउंड्री सेपरेटिंग अपर मेंटल फ्रॉम द लोअर मेंटल, दैट इज कॉल्ड रिपीटेड डिसकंटिन्यूटी। गुटेनबर्ग डिसकंटिन्यूटी कहाँ बनती है? बाउंड्री सेपरेटिंग लोअर मेंटल फ्रॉम आउटर कोर। लोअर मेंटल फ्रॉम आउटर कोर। लोअर मेंटल फ्रॉम आउटर कोर। थर्ड क्वेश्चन, he these are PIQ question asked various exams. Core structural fold types. Anticline, where formed anticline, upward arching rock fold with older strata. Next, syncline, downward throwing rock fold with younger strata. Isocline, compressional fold where both limbs dip at equal angles. Equal angles बोल कि isocline. Next, recumbent fold, extreme fold where the axial plane is oriented horizontally. Recumbent means horizontally. Fourth question, global wind classification. क्या टॉपिक हो? दिस टॉपिक, चिकून, what is चिकून? Warm dry wind descending the eastern Rockies, snow eater, also called snow eater. Mistral, what is mistral? Cold dry northerly wind blowing down into the मेडिटेरियन मध्ये मिस्ट्राल, खमसीन, hot dust laden dry wind blowing across Egypt, खमसीन Egypt, खमसीन Egypt. Harmattan, Harmattan, dry dusty West African wind blowing from the Sahara, the doctor wind, also called doctor wind, Harmattan doctor wind. Uh, Fifth question, atmospheric layers and boundaries. Tropopause. Where is located tropopause? Boundary layer separating the troposphere from the stratosphere. Troposphere from the stratosphere. Mesosphere. Coldest atmospheric layer where temperature drop to minus 100 degrees Celsius. Minus 100 degrees Celsius. Next, thermosphere, high temperature layer containing the ionosphere for the radio reflection. A stratosphere, fourth layer is stratosphere, extremely stable layer housing the maximum ozone concentration. Sixth question match the following: ocean trench depths. Ocean trench depths. Mariana Trench, deepest oceanic trench on the Earth, located in the western Pacific. Puerto Rico Trench, deepest oceanic point located in the Atlantic Ocean. Java, that is called Sunda Trench, deepest subduction oceanic trench located in Indian Ocean. South Sandwich Trench, deepest subduction feature located in the Southern Ocean. Next, ocean current circulations. Ocean current circulations. Gulf Stream, warm, powerful North Atlantic current acceleration towards Europe. Gulf Stream towards Europe. Humboldt, Peru, also called Peru current, cold nutrient-rich South Pacific current affecting South of America. Kursio current, warm, north flowing Western Pacific current near Japan. Near Japan. Next, Oshio current, cold subtractic Western Pacific current flowing past Kamchatka. 8. Marine depositional zones. 8th question, marine depositional zones. Marine depositional zones. Uh, Neritic zone. Neritic zone, shallow marine environmental extending above the continental shelf. Above the continental shelf. Marine. Uh, Pelagic zone, open ocean waters column extending away from the coast. A benthic zone, where is formed a benthic zone, ecological region at the very bottom of the ocean floor, very bottom, कहे तो benthic zone. Abysmal plain, where is formed abysmal plains, flat deep ocean basin floor at of depths of 3000 to 6000 meters. Next, international boundary lines, Red Cliff line, India and Pakistan. McMahon line, northeast India and China. Durand line, historical international boundaries spread separating Pakistan and Afghanistan. That is Durand line. 38th parallel, North Korea to South Korea. 10th, match the following: major global mountain passes. Khyber Pass. Where is located is Khyber Pass, mountain pass connecting Afghanistan and Pakistan through the Hindu Kush Parvat. That is Khyber Pass. Khyber Pass mountain connecting Afghanistan and Pakistan through the Hindu Kush Parvat. Through Hindu Kush Parvat. That is Khyber Pass. Hindu Kush Parvat. Bolan Pass. Where is located Bolan Pass? Strategic mountain pass through the Toba Kakkar range in Pakistan. Toba Kakkar range, Pakistan. Beranad Pass, high alpine mountain pass connecting Switzerland. Sipkila Pass, where is located Sipkila Pass, high mountain pass connecting Himachal Pradesh and Tibet. That is Sipkila Pass, Himachal Pradesh and Tibet. 11th question, that is Himalayan longitudinal zones. Himadri Range. Where is located Himadri Range? The Greater Himalayas housing the highest global peaks. हिमाद्री ग्रेट है, हिमा ग्रेट है, हिमा कैसे है, ग्रेट है, ग्रेटर हिमालय. हिमाचल रेंज, द लेसर हिमालय हाउसिंग मेजर हिल स्टेशन. हिमाद्री ग्रेटर है तो हिमाचल, हिमा कैसे होगी, अब लेजर होगी, हिमा कैसे होगी, लेजर होगी. हिमाचल रेंज लेजर हिमालय हाउसिंग मेजर हिल स्टेशंस. शिवालिक रेंज, द आउटर हिमालय forming the youngest foothills. Shiva Shambhu youngest. Trans Himalayas, Karakoram, Ladakh, and Dhaskar ranges located north of the Great 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 Himalaya. Trans Himalaya, in the Trans Himalaya, which is located ranges, that is Karakoram, Ladakh, Dhaskar. Next, 12. Indian Himalaya transversal passes. Zojila Pass, where is located? That is Srinagar to Leh. Connects Srinagar to Leh. Connects Srinagar to Leh. Nathula Pass, high Himalayan mountain pass connecting Sikkim and Tibet. Nathula, Sikkim and Tibet. Bomdila Passa, Arunachal Pradesh and Lhasa. Bomblida Passa, Arunachal Pradesh and Lhasa. Lipulek Pass, where is located Uttarakhand with Tibet. Uttarakhand with Tibet, Lipulek Passa. Drainage system patterns. Drainage system patterns. Dendritic pattern, where is located dendritic pattern. Dendritic pattern located where? That is tree-like branching river network developed on uniform rock strata. Uniform rock strata. Trellis pattern. Trellis, rectangular river network developed on alternating hard and soft rock. Alternating hard and soft rock, that is hard and soft rock, that is rectangular, also called trellis pattern. Trellis alter, उसको alter करना ही पड़ेगा. Radial pattern, a stream network flowing outward from central volcanic cone or dome. Radial pattern. A centripetal pattern. Centripetal, a streams covering inward into a central low-lying basin or lake. Indian Peninsular River Hydro Projects. Indian Peninsular River Hydro Projects. Indian Peninsular River Hydro Projects. Sardar Sarovar, a massive concrete gravity dam constructed on Narmada River. Sardar Sarovar, Narmada River. Nagarjun Sagar, a largest masonry dam built across the Krishna River. Nagarjun Sagar, Krishna River. Mettur Dam, Kaveri. Mettur Dam, Kaveri. Hirakund Dam, Mahanadi. Hirakund Dam, Mahanadi. 15th question. Global soil classification. Podozol soil. Podozol soil, acidic, balanced forest soil typical of cool coniferous region. Cool coniferous region. Uh, Crenozomes, nutrient-rich black agriculture soil found in semi-arid steppes. Laterite soil, highly leached, iron-rich tropical soil formed under alternating wet-dry seasons. Regur soil, self-plowing black cotton soil, highly rich in clay content. Question 16th. Indian soil degradation factors. Indian soil degradation factors. Salination, accumulation of soluble salts due to excessive canal irrigation. Due to canal irrigation. Gully erosion. Gully erosion, severe soil displacement creating badland topography, Chambal River. Example, Chambal River. Gully erosion, seat erosion, uniform removal of topsoil by heavy surface runoff water. Seat erosion caused by surface runoff water, desertification, expansion of arid land zones due to overgrazing and deforestation. Overgrazing and deforestation. Next, mineral ore mining capital. Mineral ore mining capital, uh, Kudermukh. Kudermukh, major iron ore mining belt located in Karnataka. Kudermukh iron belt located in which state? Karnataka. Khetri, historical copper mining district located in Rajasthan. Khetri, Rajasthan. Jharia, highest grade coking coke, cooking coal, highest grade cooking coal reservoir block located in Jharkhand. Jharia, Jharkhand. Jharia, Jharkhand. Highest Panna, principal active diamond mining field located in Madhya Pradesh. Next, global mineral hubs. Global mineral hubs. Katanga province, major cobalt copper mining region in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Congo, Katanga province, Congo. Uh, with the water stand extremely deep gold ridge geological ridge located in South Africa. With the standard this mine is located in South Africa. Pilbara region, massive high grade iron ore mining hub in Western Australia. Mesa Bay Range, principal iron ore mining district located in Minnesota, USA. Iron mine, Mesa Bay, USA. Major global industrial clusters. Ruhr Valley is famous for Ruhr Valley is famous for historical coal and heavy steel industrial hub of Germany. Ruhr Valley steel production, Germany. Kuznets Basin, major coal mining and heavy industrial region in Russia. Kuznets coal mining, Russia. Pittsburgh Gray, core iron and steel manufacturing belt in United States of America. Pittsburgh Gray. Pittsburgh Gray. Next, Hansin region, major industrial zone cluster encompassing Osaka and Kobe, Japan. Hansin region, Japan, famous for industrial zone. Biome watershed pattern, biome weather patterns. 20 question. Tundra biome, famous for treeless biome with permanently frozen subsoil called permafrost. Taiga biome, famous for coniferous forests biome experiencing long harsh winter seasons. Harsh winter seasons. Savanna, tropical grassland biome characterized by distinct wet and dry seasons. Selvas biome, dense equatorial rainforest biome exhibiting continuous vertical stratification. Continuous vertical stratification. Next, 21st question. Major space planetary metrics. Perihelion. What is mean by perihelion? Point in the Earth's elliptical orbit closest to the Sun. That is perihelion. And aphelion means a point in the Earth's elliptical orbit farthest away from the Sun. Perigee. What is mean by perigee? Point in the Moon's elliptical orbit closest to the Earth. Closest to the Earth, that is perigee. And apogee means a point in the Moon's elliptical orbit furthest away from the Earth. Next, 22nd question. Core volcanic features. Core volcanic features. Batholith. What is mean by batholith? Large, deep seated intrusive igneous rock mass forming plutonic domes. Plutonic domes igneous means batholith. Laccolith means what is laccolith? Lens-shaped intrusive igneous rock mass with flat ship, domed roof. Caldera means large volcanic crater formed by the collapse of cleared magma chamber. Cleared magma chamber, that is cleared. Cleared. Next, sill, horizontal sheet of intrusive igneous rock forced between older rock layers. Sill. Uh, 23rd, cloud classification layers. Cirrus clouds, where is formed cirrus clouds? High altitude, feathery ice crystal clouds indicating fair weathers, that is cirrus clouds. Cumulus, cumulnimbus clouds, towering vertical thunderstorms clouds generating rain and hail. Heavy rain and hail. Stratus clouds, low altitude uniform grayish sheet covering the entire sky. Next, altocumulus clouds, middle latitude, patches or roll of gray and white clouds. 24th, global state corridors. State of Malacca. State of Malacca, strategic gateway connecting the Indian Ocean with South China Sea. State of Malacca. State of Gibraltar, waterway connecting Atlantic Ocean and Mediterranean Ocean. Mediterranean, that is state of Gibraltar. Anti मध्ये असते जबरदस्त जिब्राल्टर. Babandev, strategic choke point connecting Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. Red Sea of Gulf of Aden. रडतय गर्लफ्रेंड मध्ये means Babandev. Red Sea, Gulf of Aden. Next, Indian tribal demographic hubs. Indian tribal demographic hubs. Garo Khasi tribes, indigenous matrilineal communities residing in Meghalaya. Garo Khasi tribes located in Meghalaya. Toda tribe, where is located Toda tribe? Pastoral tribe community practicing polyandry in Nilgiri Hills. Polyandry in Nilgiri Hills. Santal tribe, largest tribal group traditionally inhabiting in the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Santal tribe located in Chota Nagpur Plateau. Bhil tribe, highly populated tribe communities spread across western and central India. Here is completed geography. Next chapter, that is polity. 25, match the following POQ questions. First, historical acts and provisions. Chartered Act of 1883 in, ended the trade monopoly of the East India Company, except tea and trade with China. Chartered Act of 1853 separated the legislative and executive function of the Governor General Council at the first time via 1853 Act. Indian Council Act of 1892 introduced the discussion of the budget and addressing questions to executive. Next, Indian Council Act of 1909 communal representation introduced via separate electorals for Muslims. Landmark feature of Government India Act of 1935. That is very important act. Provincial autonomy. Abolished diarchy in the provinces and introduced it at the center. Federal court provided for the establishment of the federal court of in 1737. Division of subjects divided legislative power into federal. The 1937 should be. Next, Division of subjects divided legislative power into federal, provincial, and concurrent lists. Council of India abolished Council of India established by the Act 1858. 1858. Next, sources of the Constitution. Government of India Act 1935, Office of the Governor, Federal Scheme and Emergency Provisions, British Constitution, Parliamentary Government, Rule of Law, Single Citizenship, United States Constitution, Fundamental Rights, Judicial Review, Removal of Supreme Court Judges, Irish Constitution, Directive State DPSPs, and nomination of members to the Rajya Sabha. Next, sources of the Constitution, Part 2, Gandhian Canadian Constitution, federal with a strong center, residuary powers vesting in the center. Next, Australian Constitution, concurrent list and joint sitting of the two houses of the Parliament. Joint sitting and houses of the Parliament. Joint sitting and houses of the Parliament. Next, Weimar Constitution of Germany, suspension of fundamental rights during emergency. USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics Constitution, fundamental duties and ideal of justice in the preamble. Next, constitutional schedules and themes. Fifth schedule, provisions relating to administration and control of the scheduled areas and scheduled tribes. Sixth schedule, administration of tribal area, Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Eighth schedule, recognizing 22 official languages of the Republic of India. 11th schedule specified 29 functional matters under the jurisdiction of panchayats. Question 6, critical constitutional amendments, part 1, 42nd amendment 1976 added socialist secular integrity to the preamble. 44th amendment 1978 deleted right to property from the list of the fundamental rights. Next, 52nd Amendment Act 1985 added the 10th schedule to the prevent political defection. 61st Amendment Act 1989 reduced the voting age from the 20 years to 8 years. Next, 7th Critical Constitutional Amendments, 73rd Amendment 1992 granted constitutional status to Panchayati Raj institutions. 86th Amendment Act 2002 made right to education a fundamental right. Article 21A. 101st Amendment Act 2016 introduced the GST goods and services tax. 103rd Amendment Act 2019 provided 10% reservation for EWS economically weaker sections. Fundamental Rights Article. Article 14 Equality before law and equal protection of law. Article 17 Abolition of untouchability and prohibition of practice. Article 19 Subclause 1 Subclause A Protection of freedom of speech and expression. Article 21 Protection of life and personal liberty. Match the following question 9th. Fundamental Rights Article Part 2. Article 23 Prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor. Article 25 Freedom of consciences and free profession, practice and prorogation of religion. Article 32 Right to constitutional remedies via writ petitions. Article 35A empowers Jammu and Kashmir legislature to define permanent residence scrapped. Writ jurisdictions and explanations. Next part, 10th question, habeas corpus, to produce detention prisoners before the court to have the body of. Habeas corpus means to have the body of. Mandamus, command command issued to a public authority to perform official duty. Weak command, that means mandamus means weak command. Quo warranto, to prevent illegal usurpation of public office by what authority? Quo warranto means by what authority, or usurpation of public office. Next, certiorari, issued by higher court to quash the order of the lower court. To meaning of certiorari, to be certified. Directive principles of state policy, DPSP, question 11. And Article 39, subclause A, equal justice and free legal and to the poor. Article 40, organization of village panchayat as a units of self government. Article 44, uniform civil code for the citizens throughout India. Article 50, separation of judiciary from the executive in public services. Question 12th, parliamentary terms and mechanisms. Quorum, what is quorum? Minimum attendance required to transact business, 1/10 of the total members. Next, guillotine. What is guillotine? Putting all remaining clauses of a bill or budget to vote without discussion. Guillotine means without discussion. Without. Starry questions require an oral answer in the house, allowing supplementary questions. Starry question means supplementary questions are allowed to discuss. Lame deck session. What is lame deck session? The last session of an existing Lok Sabha after a new one is elected. Question 13th, Supreme Court landmark cases. A.K. Gopalan case 1950, narrow interpretation of the Article 21 focusing on procedure established by law. Golaknath case 1967, Parliament can't amend fundamental rights to take them away. Keswanand Bharti case 1973 outlined the basic structure doctrine of the Constitution. Next, Minerva Mill case 1980 re-established the balance between fundamental rights and DPSPs. Supreme Court Landmark Cases Part 2, Indira Sahni case 1992 upheld 27% OBC reservation but capped total reservation at 50%. SR Bombay case 1994 laid down guidelines against arbitrary misuse of Article 356. Bombay. Vishaka case 1997 formulated guidelines to the curb sexual harassment at workplace. Puttaswamy case in 2017 declared the right to privacy as a fundamental right under Article 21. Emergency provisions. Question 15. Emergency provisions and articles. Article 52. National emergency due to war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. Article 356. Precedence rule. Article 360, financial emergency if financial stability or credit of India is threatened. Next article, Article 358, automatic suspension of freedoms guaranteed by Article 19 during the national emergency. Automatic suspension of Article 19. Comptroller and Auditor General related questions. Question 16. Article 148 Appointment and Condition of Service for the CAC of India. Public Account Committee examines the annual audit reports of CAG. Members included in Public Account Committee is 22. Estimate Committee examines the budget estimates to suggest economics. 30 members, all are from Lok Sabha. Article 280 Finance Commission constituted by the Presidents every 5 years. Federal Interstate Commission. Federal Interstate Commission. Question 17. Sarkaria Commission 1983 examined interstate relation and recommended interstate council. Punchi Commission 2007 phrase review of interstate relation changes in Indian economy. Article 262 adjudication of disputes relating to waters of interstate rivers. Article 263 provisions with respect to the interstate council for the coordination. 18th Question 18th Election Commission and Electoral Reforms. Article 324 Superintendent's directions, control of elections and vested in Election Commission. Dinesh Goswami Committee recommended state funding of election and anti-defection amendments. Next, Tarkunde Committee related to recommended lowering voting age 18 and multi-member election commission. Which committee recommended voting age 8 years? That is Tarkunde Committee. Indrajit Gupta Committee related to Indrajit Gupta Committee dealt especially with the state funding of election for level playing fields. Question 19th. Special constitutional statutes and region articles 371 special provisions with respect to Maharashtra and Goa, Gujarat, sorry. Article 371A special provisions to Nagaland, 370 Nagaland, 371 subclause F, that is Sikkim, F for Sikkim, 371 J for J Karnataka. Next, Article 20 statutory and non-constitutional bodies. Statutory and non-constitutional bodies. Niti Aayog, a national institution for transforming India. Non-constitutional, non-statutory. Policy think tank established in 2015. Established in 2015. Next, established in 2015. Next, 2015, that is National Human Rights Commission, statutory body established under Protection of Human Rights Acts 1993. Central Information Commission, statutory body set up under the Right to Information Act 2005. Central Vigilance Commission, statutory body created to address governmental corruption. Question 21st, Special Parliamentary Committees, Business Advisory Committee of Parliament regulates the program and timetable of the House. Next, Committee on Privileges examines the case of breach of privileges of the House and its members. That is breach. That is Privilege Committee. Rules Committee related to considers matters of procedures and conduct of businesses in the House. That is Rules Committee. Next, Joint Parliamentary Committee, ad hoc ad hoc committee set up to investigate specific functional discrepancies. Question 22nd. Fundamental duties categories. Article 51 subclause A, duty to abide by the constitution, respect national flag and anthem. That is Article 51 subclause A, duty to abide by the constitutional, respect of the national flag and anthem. Article 50A subclause Z, duty to protect and improve the natural environment, includes forest and wildlife. G for forest. Article 51J, duty to strive towards excellence in the sphere of individual and collective activity. J for collective activity. Article 51K, duty of parent guardian to provide education opportunity to child aged 60 to 6 to 14 years. Special quasi judicial tribunals. Article 321, administrative tribunals for disputes regarding public service recruitments. Article 333 23B, tribunals for other matters like taxation, foreign exchange and land reforms. CAT, Central Administrative Tribunal, set up in 1985 to adjudicate central service matters, that is CAT, related to adjudicate central service matters, established in 1985. National Green Tribunal, a statutory tribunal set up in 2010 for the environmental cases, related to environmental cases. Question 24, key official languages provisions. Article 343 says official language of the Union shall be Hindi in Devanagari script. Article 345 says official language or language of the state, that is Article 345. Article 348 says language to be used in the Supreme Court of and also in high courts. Next, Article 351, directive for development and spread of the Hindi language, that is Article 351 says you have to development of Hindi language. Constitutional officers and age limits. President of India minimum age requirement 35 years. Member of Rajya Sabha minimum age requirement 30 years. Member of Lok Sabha minimum age required 25 years. Supreme Court judges require retirement maximum limit for the holding office is 65 years. These polity 25 match the following questions. POQ we have ended. Next chapter, that is economics. 25 questions. Type of economic systems. Type of economic systems. First, capitalist economics. Market forces demand and supply determines production. Laissez-faire. Here occurs laissez-faire. Socialist economy. State controls resources and plans productions for public welfare. That is socialist economy. Mixed economy. Coexistence of public sector and private enterprises. Indian model. That is mixed economy. Dual economy. What is dual economy? What is dual economy? Dual economy means coexistence of modern technology sectors and traditional agriculture. Both existed, coexisted. 5-year plans models. Question second, 5-year plans and models. First plan 1951 to 56, Harrod model focusing on agriculture. Second plan 1956 to 61, Mahanobilis model focusing on heavy industrialization. Fifth plan 1974 to 79 focused on poverty eradication. Garibi Hatao, the slogan given in the fifth plan. Eighth plan 1992 to 1997 launched LPG liberalization, privatization and globalization economic reforms. Question 3, that is GDP, gross domestic product, total value of final goods and services produced within national boundaries. Next, what is gross national product? National means nationality in relevant to the people. Gross national product GDP plus net factor income from abroad. GDP, net domestic product, gross domestic products minus depreciation. Per capita income means net national income at a factor cost divided by the total population. Per capita income means divided by total population for net national income. Types of market structures: perfect competition, infinite buyers and sellers dealing with homogeneous products. Homogeneous products, features of perfect competition, that is infinite buyers and sellers. Next, monopoly. What is monopoly? Single seller controlling the entire supply with the no close substitutes. Monopolistic competition. What is meaning by monopolistic competition? Many sellers dealing in differentiated products. Soap brand, like soap brand. Next, oligopoly means market dominated by few large firms. Example, telecom providers like Jio, Airtel, Idea. Oligopoly. Monetary policy tools. Next question, monetary policy tools. Repo rate, rate at which RBI, Reserve Bank of India, lends short term money to the commercial banks. Next, reserve repo rate, reverse repo rate, sorry, rate at which RBI borrows short-term funds from the commercial banks. Short terms. Uh, CRR, cash reserve ratio, liquid cash percentage banks must maintain with RBI. That is liquid. IMP keyword is liquid cash. SLR, statutory liquidity ratio, liquid assets. IMP word is asset percentage bank must keep with themselves. Next, type of inflations, creeping inflation, slow mild rise in price levels around 2 to 3% annually. Yearly increment होता है 2 to 3%. Creeping inflation. Galloping inflation means extremely fast double or triple digit price lights. That means 10% or 20% or more. That is galloping inflation. Hyperinflation means out of control, runaway monetary collapse. Example, Weimar Germany. Stagflation means high inflation combined with stagnant economic growth and high unemployment. High unemployment with stagflation with inflation. Core economics surveys. Core economic curves. Core economic curves. Phillips curves shows inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment. That is Phillips curves. Laffer curves means show relationship between tax rates and total tax revenue collected. Tax rates and total collected revenue. Lawrence curve, graphical representation of wealth or income in inequality distribution. Income or inequality. Kuznets curve. Kuznets curve means hypothesis that economic inequality increase then decrease during the development. Kuznets curve says that hypothesis that economic inequality increase then decrease during the development. Type of unemployment. Eighth question. Structural unemployment. Unemployment, mismatch between jobs available and skill of the workers. Mismatch of availability of jobs and skill of workers. Frictional unemployment, a temporary joblessness while switching between the jobs. Switching between the jobs, that is frictional. As cyclical unemployment caused by the economic recessions and downturns in the trade cycles, that is cyclical unemployment, trade cycles. Disguised unemployment, marginal productivity of labor is zero. Marginal productivity of labor is zero, common in agriculture. Next, banking in finance institutions. RBI and Reserve Bank of India established in 1935 on Hilton Young Commission recommendation. NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, established in 1982 for the rural credit. Should be Small Industries Development Bank of India, set up in 1990 for micro and small industries. SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India, statutory regulation body for capital markets in 1992. Next, financial market instruments, treasury bills, short-term sovereign debt instruments issued by the central government. Bills is issued by central governments. Commercial unsecured unsecured short-term uh, promissory notes issued by the high-rated corporations. Certificate of deposit means negotiable money market instrument issued by the commercial banks. Issued by the commercial banks. Call money. What is call money? Short-term interbank funds loan repayable on demand, usually one day. That is call money. Usually one day. That is call money. Government budget deficits. Government budget deficits. Fiscal deficits. Fiscal deficit means total expenditure minus total revenue, excluding borrowings. Total expenditure minus borrowing, that is budget deposit. Revenue deposit means excess of total revenue expenditure or total revenue receipts. Primary deficit, fiscal deficit minus interest of payments on past debts. Past debts. Next, effective revenue deficit. Revenue deficit minus grants given for the capital asset creation. Capital asset creation. Type of tax systems. Progressive tax means tax rate increase as the taxpayers income increases. Example, income tax. Progressive tax example is income tax. Regressive tax, high tax burden falls heavily on the lower income earners. Proportional tax, uniform tax rate applied across all income brackets. Proportional costs. Indirect tax burden can be shifted to the consumer. GST, goods and services tax. Questions 13th, demand and supply elasticity. Perfect elasticity means infinite demand change for a microscopic change in the price. Microscopic change in the price. Next, perfect inelasticity means zero demand change regardless of any changes in price. Zero means inelasticity. Given goods means inferior goods whose demand is rises as price rises, violates law of demand. Violates law of demand. Next, complementary goods. Goods consumed together showing negative cross elasticity. Car and petrol consumed together. Poverty and Inequality Committees. Alag Committee, 1979, first to construct a nutritional calorie-based poverty line. Alag. Lakadwala Committee, 1993, used a consumer price index to track regional poverty levels. Regional poverty levels. Next, Tendulkar Committee. Tendulkar Committee formed in 2009 shifted poverty calculation to nutritional, health and education spending. Rangarajan Committee 2014 revised daily monthly per capita consumption, expenditure and benchmark. International financial bodies. International financial bodies. IMF, International Monetary Funds, provides short-term balance of the payment crisis management. World Bank provides long-term structural development and poverty reduction loans. WTO, World Trade Organization, resolve multilateral global trade disputes, replaced the GATT in 1995. ASEAN Development Bank, regional development financial institution headquartered in Manila. Stock market indices. Stock market indices. Sensex benchmark index, tracking top 30 large companies on a BSE Bombay Stock Exchange. Sensex. सेन्स तो बॉम्बेमध्ये सेन्स येतो बॉम्बेमध्ये सेन्सेक्स. निफ्टी benchmark index tracking top 50 large companies on national stock exchange. National Association of Securities declares automated quotations. Global electronic marketplace for the tech stock. Dow Jones. Dow Jones means Dow Jones Industrial Stock Price Average Index based in New York. Dow Jones based in New York. Types of goods: public goods, non-rivalrous and non-excludable consumption items, street lights; private goods, excludable and rivalrous goods sold in open markets; oh, Veblen goods, luxury item whose demand rises as price hikes due to the status value due to the status value. Private goods, Webum goods, club goods means excludable but non-rivalrous consumption items. Example: satellite television. Club goods, money aggregators. Yemon supply means currency with the public plus demand deposit, narrow money. Yemon money called narrow money. M2 money supply, Yemon plus saving deposit with the post office saving banks. M3 money supply, M1 plus time term deposit with the commercial bank, broad money called M3 money. M4 money supply, M3 plus total deposit with the post office saving organizations. Question 9. Balance of payments account. Current account track merchandise trade balance service invisible and unilateral transfers. Capital account tracks external commercial borrowings, foreign direct investment and loans, that is capital account. Trade deficit, a condition when visible merchandise imports exceeds visible exports. Trade deficit means condition where visible merchandise imports exceeds visible exports. Capital surplus. Capital capital accounts. Capital surplus, net inflow of the international investment exceeds outflow. Inflow exceeds outflow. 20th question. Agriculture terms and schemes, MSP, minimum support price, guaranteed floor price announced before showing by CAPF. A fair and remunerative price, what is meant by statutory minimum price sugar mills must pay to farmers. Buffer stock means commodity stock pills maintained by the Food Corporation of India for food security, that is buffer stock. Green Revolution introduced high yield variety HYV seeds and chemical fertilization 1969 66. Stock market concepts. Bull market means financial environment where stock indices show sustainable upward growth. अपवर्ड जाते सिंग bull chain. A bear market financial instrument where stock indices shows sustainable downward drop. Blue chip stock equity of large financial stable industries leading to corporations. Blue chip stock. IPO means initial public offering, first time a private company sells shares to the public. Cost and revenues. Fixed cost expense that do not vary with production output. Variable cost expenses that shift directly in pronounces to outpost level raw material. Opportunity cost, value of the next best alternative foreign during the decision making. Next